Yeah, I'm being serious, and no, this is not a clickbait. I genuinely think this game is better than Mario Kart. And I just know you're like, how could this licensed movie tie-in game about those funny talking cars possibly top one of the best and most popular racing games ever made? And you know what? That's exactly why I made this video in the first place. Let me tell you a tale as old as time itself. I was like 9 when I first played this game, and of course I played it because it has some Ka-Chow McQueen cars in it, but it has some staying power besides the novelty of the fact that it's a cars game. I went back and played it over and over and over and over and over, and I felt like this game was just genuinely good in general, and always chose this game over any Mario Kart game, like this is true. But I couldn't understand how to explain it, because I was a baby little chicken infant. But now that I'm all grown up now, after coming back to this game and playing it just expecting it to be the inferior Mario Kart, made me realize that this is actually better than any Mario Kart game out there in just probably every way possible, and just one of the best racing games that's ever been made in general. Like, I'm not even joking, it's just that good of a game. And it was genuinely grueling to see so many people just underappreciate and just underestimate this game's quality. Like, at best, some reviewers call this game as arguably a hidden gem in kart racer. Like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, arguably a hidden gem? Like, what? Like, and you're probably all like, oh, why are you so overreacting? It's just a tie-in racing games about just Cars 2, the movie that sucked. Shut up. That's actually what frustrates me the most. Like, so many people undermine this game just because of the fact that it's a tie-in game to promote the Cars 2 movie, which was just a steaming pile of garbage. But that doesn't mean the game is bad. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So I'm planning to change your mind in this video, in this very video. I am 100% certain you're gonna throw your bias all away and think Cars 2 the game is objectively better than Mario Kart. I'm not holding anything back. Here we go. Let's first cover those nitty-gritty stuff that add up to the game's mechanics and make it just ever so slightly funner before getting into what makes this game really freaking fun. Like, this game is actually very similar to Mario Kart, but took the approach of adding on more and more and more mechanics and more new features and just make it better. And I've noticed that the mobility in this game is just far more freeform and agile than any kart racer I have ever played, just including Mario Kart. The most obvious thing in this game is that you could jump in this game whenever you feel like it. And it actually has the slope physics in Sonic games of all things, so you can jump really high depending on the angle of the slope. So it opens up a lot of shortcuts you can invent by jumping. And the game is actually built around this feature, and has optional routes for this specific jumping control. And the jump has proper momentum, and you have to aim yourself into the trajectory you want to go. So it kinda like turns into a pseudo-platformer, just like Sonic games. You could also bash left and right in this game to hit the enemies. It slows them down a little bit and just gives you some boost meter, which I'm gonna elaborate on later. But that's not even the fun part. The actual fun part about this move is that you can just use this to just move left and right real quick, and you can also use this to dodge stuff real fast, like left and right, whenever there's a hazard. And it's far more kinetic and just fun than just slowly driving left and right. So those additional moves offer more than enough variety and just skill ceiling to the kart racing mechanics, and just already makes this game stand out from the other kart racers. Like, what moves do you have in Mario Kart? You can only jump in an item, which depends on your luck instead of your skill. You don't even have the bashing move on top of that. And we're not even done talking about this game. We're just starting with the nuance and complex elements of this control, and just how it's better than Mario Kart. Now let's talk about what makes this game really worth playing. The boost meter in this game really reveals its depth and skill ceiling. Unlike Mario Kart's mushroom, which you gain through an item boxes, which is kinda situational and kinda luck based, you could boost all you want so long as you have the boost meter, as you would lose one chunk of a meter every time you boost, and you could do various things to fill it up, kinda like the boost system from Sonic Unleashed. And this change in system allows you to just go on your own pace, and give this game a whole lot of skill ceiling, thus the newcomers who aren't as good as the game won't be able to boost as long as the veterans. And because the boosts depend on the meter, you would really want to think about when to use the boost and when not to use it, and what to do to fill the boost gauge in the first place. There are countless shortcuts you can take by using the boost meter, like this grass field that would just usually slow you down unless you're boosting, or this section where you could just use the boost to jump a massive distance. And you'd have to choose when is the wisest and the most efficient moment to use the meter, because you could use the boost for this shortcut, but you would not have the meter for the later shortcut. You have to think about the outcome in the long term and really strategize. So in Mario Kart, you could basically just do the one thing to get a boost like the mini turbo. Drift when you see a corner, or maybe just keep it going in the straightaways for the bigger boost. I mean, it's not that in-depth and interesting from the player's perspective of decision making, but in Cars 2 the game, you also have to consider the multiple ways you could get the boost meter in the first place. First, you could just trick in the air, which means the more you trick and the more varied your tricks are, the more boost you get. That means you usually have to go really high in the air to get a lot of boost. You could also drift, drive backwards, or just drive on two wheels. And because the air drag is here in this game just like kind of a Sonic game, when you jump and air drag to gain boost, it's actually gonna slow you down progressively the more you jump. So you have to choose between the air tricks or just doing the stuff on the ground to gain boost, which doesn't involve the air drag slowing yourself down, but gives you kinda less boost. And when you do jump and trick, you have to vary up your combos every time you trick. You also have to consider the timing on when to do all the actions to fill up the boost meter in the first place, because you could just ignore all those opportunities slowing yourself down to get the boost meter, but you wouldn't have enough meter for the later shortcut. And there are just countless opportunities for boost meter all throughout the level, and there are many variables on what the better places to do all the actions to get the boost meter could be, because there are those billboards you could break, and the boost canister you could get to gain the extra boost meter, and it would vary up the decision making as you have to consider the locations to get the maximum amount of boost meter possible. So you have to choose which one to take for the best outcome. In general, you have to strike the balance between the raw speed you're going at and the boost meter you're gonna use. Like the strategy in this game is actually like really deep, as you really have to think in the long term and not just the obstacle in front of you. And it's actually just a far cry from Mario Kart system that doesn't require that much skills, and kinda just depends on the luck of the player. And we're not even done yet. That's the amount of depth this game has after breaking this game down to just a fundamental level. Like this game actually goes even deeper if we break even more deeper nuances of those mechanics I just talked about earlier. Like the boost management goes a lot deeper if you're skilled at this game, because there are more things to use the boost meter for than just the shortcuts. And I can't stress enough that the timing for boosting gets even more important. I mean, first, you would go a lot faster if you boost just over and over simultaneously, but you would consume a lot of meters at the risk of just completely running out of it and just wasting it. And you would go a lot slower if you put spaces between boosting, but you would save a lot of meter for the trade of going slower. And the other thing about jumping is that you can't just boost while in the air, so you have to plan ahead and time your boost before jumping over the obstacles or something, as you would lose a tons of speed because of the air drag if you don't. And speaking of jumping, there is this interesting property where when you jump, it retains your momentum minus the air drag. So if you're in the terrain like grass, slowing you down even more than the air drag would, you can just jump to retain your momentum to conserve your boost meter. But you are gonna lose the speed anyway if you just keep jumping over and over without boosting, so you have to also plan ahead to preserve the boost meter before this. There are also those drift pads and arrow things, I don't know what to call, but it gives you the some boost meter when you're drifting on it or just driving on two wheels. It's also most efficient to boost before going into those blue drift pads, I guess, as it gives you more boost meter the faster you go through them. And you can't boost during driving on two wheels, so you have to plan ahead to preserve all those boost meter for all the sections and all those aspects I just talked about as well, plus the shortcuts where you could skip sections. And also when and where to do all those actions to get the boost meter get deeper as well. Because this game has a catching up mechanic where the players in the behind get more portion of the meter than the leader, and you start the race in the last position. So that means you can just take advantage of this and do as many things as possible to get the boost meter in that position, but just enough to prevent yourself from slowing down too much at the start of the race. Like I said, you have to choose which one of those is the best option to strike the balance between the boost meter and speed. Like, this game really gets my brain going constantly. I always think about when to do all those actions to get the boost, and what actions to do in the first place, and where to boost to get the best outcome and the best time as well. And there are so many variables where it can go wrong and it can go well. And I don't think Mario Kart or any other kart racer for that matter nearly has this amount of depth and skill ceiling in this driving mechanics. Like, just not even close. I mean, I kinda know Mario Kart being luck based instead of being skill based is kinda the point, so more casual players can join the fun as well. But the thing is, Cars 2 has everything Mario Kart has, like drifting to get boost, item boxes for the new players and all that stuff, plus those extra elements that make this game really in-depth and fun for hardcore gamers as well. Ergo, so far into the controls, me thinks Cars 2 is just a better version of Mario Kart. And the level design also utilizes the controls I just talked about, and genuinely does a better job than Mario Kart. What I like about the level design is that it expands on the decision making of this game's boost management, and gives you a choice between the opportunities for filling the boost meter, which kinda slows you down, and the faster way that kinda drains the boost meter. There are also many shortcuts in the level design like I just talked about, and a lot of them require you to boost, so it adds to the boost management as well. And also the level design in this game uses kind of an alternative path, like a Sonic game. One is faster but drains your boost meter, and the other is slower but kinda gives you more boost meter as a trade-off. And even when this game takes place on a single path, it gives you a choice of going in the inside line and getting no boost meter, but just going faster, or getting the boost meter with those drifting panels I just talked about, but you have to go on the outside line, and that's kinda slower. There are also those billboards you can break by jumping, so the level kinda mixes those two things together, where there's a 3 layers consisting of the fastest way, going through the inside line but with no extra boost meter, the slower way to going through the outside line but with like kinda a little extra boost meter, and the slowest way of jumping through the billboard but with a lot of extra meters. It expands on the decision making of this game even more. But wait, there's just one more left. There is occasionally a big uphill slope for you to jump on, like really high so you can trig a lot to get a lot of boost meter, or you can just cut your jump short to get less airtime and go a little bit faster, but you would get less boost meter as a trade-off. So you have to choose between those two. And all those things match and tie down the gameplay of decision making for the boost meter, like deciding when is the best moment to boost, and what actions to do to gain the boost meter in the first place, and when to do all those actions to gain the boost meter. And because the controls of this game itself is really far more fun and complex than Mario Kart, the level design just tying those design elements down in the first place just makes it equally as fun as the control itself, and makes it over Mario Kart's gameplay, which has simple controls and a lot simpler level design. So overall, I would say this game is far superior than any Mario Kart game, just even Mario Kart World, and just any racing game out there. Phew, that's gotta be all I have to say about Cars 2 the game. And yeah, like all of those aspects from the boost management to level design make this licensed tie-in game about those like talking cars with giant eyeballs better than the literal king of the genre that is Mario Kart. And I really wanted to showcase what makes this game genuinely fantastic, despite it being a movie tie-in game, and address the misconception for this game for being a movie tie-in game. Like, I saw so many people not taking this game seriously and just calling it okay for what it is, though it's not in the same league of Sonic or Mario racing games. So I genuinely hope you guys pick this game up to play it for yourself and understand where I was coming from, or at the very least, see this game in a lighter note, because this game really deserves it.